Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Ark. The Yes Chad meme seems to now have become one of the most popular and long-lasting meme formats. With his simple affirmation, yes, Chad thwarts the sobbing and enraged Wojaks. The Wojaks and soy boys cope and seethe while Chad contentedly says yes. This is only one iteration of the long-standing meme of dividing men into two categories. What was originally alphas and betas in the red pill self-improvement community has evolved into the Chad and incel meme format. The latest iteration of the Chad character to have gained popularity is of course the smiling, inhumanly muscular epitome of masculinity, Gigachad. But this meme goes much further back than the internet. When studying the history of morality and moral valuations, Nietzsche observed that moral and religious systems could be divided into two categories, those built around the principle of affirming life and embracing life, and those built around denying and escaping it. Nietzsche called these two differing worldviews master and slave morality, because he observed that life-affirming religions were more likely to spring from aristocratic classes and peoples who generally found life to be bearable, while life-denying religions often sprung from slave classes and conquered peoples who found only unbearable misery in life. However, more fundamentally, the affirmation of life and the denial of life are two different reactions and approaches to life, two different solutions to the problem of suffering. For as the Buddhists, the Christians, Nietzsche, Jordan Peterson, and basically anyone else you ask will tell you, life is suffering. Which of these two worldviews you hold is determined not by your class, but by the respective strength or weakness, the health or sickness of your nature, and often by extension of your society. One's reaction to suffering is crucial to how they approach life more generally. In Beyond Good and Evil, Nietzsche wrote, "The discipline of suffering, of great suffering. Do you know that it is the only discipline that has produced all the elevations of humanity hitherto? The tension of the soul in misfortune, which communicates to it its energy, its shuddering in view of rack and ruin, its inventiveness and bravery in undergoing, enduring, interpreting, and exploiting misfortune, and whatever depth, mystery, disguise, spirit, artifice, or greatness has been bestowed upon the soul, has it not been bestowed through suffering?" In contrast to almost every modern morality, philosophy, or religion, Nietzsche makes the radical claim that suffering is as equally valuable as pleasure, if not more so. If at any point in the long chain of our evolution a species had ceased to suffer, had achieved the state of happiness which is now posited as the end goal of humanity in our modern utopian ideologies, the mounting tide of evolution would have ceased, and no greater creatures would have been created through nature's cycle of constant suffering and overcoming. Suffering creates a tension of the soul, which, like a crouching tiger or a strung bow, builds up the eruption of energy necessary for all forms of greatness and overcoming. Think of the genius artist and the warrior king. Both in mythology and in history, their greatness is almost always born from suffering. If they had been satisfied, happy, they would not have had the drive to achieve greatness. Both the artist and the hero are tragic characters, and the best stories of triumph and overcoming are always tragedies. To live is to suffer. It is the strength and health of one's nature, both in spirit and in body, which determines how one overcomes and endures that suffering. The life affirmer says yes to life, embracing suffering, pain, adversity, challenge, and even death as essential and meaningful parts of life. For the life affirmer, life is a tragedy, but as Nietzsche wrote, "He who climbs upon the highest mountains laughs at all the tragedies." In contrast, the life denier seeks to escape and negate life, since he cannot bear its pain and does not have the strength or courage to overcome its challenges. He shrinks from adversity, he shrinks from suffering, he shrinks from death. He believes that life should be a comedy and that happiness and pleasure should be the default. Pain, suffering, and death are mistakes, he supposes, terrible flaws in creation, but by rejecting these, he mounts an attack on life itself. He hates and resents life for making him suffer, and he hates and resents the life affirmer, for the life affirmer laughs in the face of suffering. In the Genealogy of Morals, Nietzsche wrote, "My formula for greatness in a human being is Amor Fati, that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backwards, not in all eternity, not merely bear what is necessary, still less conceal it. All idealism is mendaciousness in the face of what is necessary, but love it." Amor Fati, love of one's fate, is Nietzsche's antidote for the resentment towards life which gives rise to those moralities and worldviews which reject life itself. The life denier compares this life to an ideal world in which he does not have to suffer. He believes there is something wrong with the world, that it is fundamentally corrupt, and that adversity, suffering, and death must be conquered and cured. This is why Nietzsche so strongly disliked Christianity and believed that it was a nihilistic, anti-life, anti-instinct religion. In The Birth of Tragedy, he wrote, "Christianity was from the beginning, essentially and fundamentally, life's nausea and disgust with itself, merely concealed behind, masked by, dressed up as, faith in another or better life. Hatred of the world, condemnation of the passions, fear of beauty and sensuality, a beyond invented the better to slander this life." Nietzsche called Christianity nihilistic because it places faith in an ideal world, a world of happiness, a peaceful green meadow in which humanity can come to rest at last. But for Nietzsche, only a weak and sterile spirit seeks out happiness. A strong and fertile spirit longs for and seeks out challenge and adversity. For Nietzsche, the belief in happiness above all else is the belief in nothing. It is the ultimate form of nihilism.
I wish I wasn't so angry all the time. Then you would be nothing. I might have been happy. Happiness is nothing.
But as Nietzsche himself pointed out, the problem of nihilism in the West runs far deeper than Christianity. For as belief in Christianity declines, our nihilism grows only worse, and the belief in the utopian ideal of the kingdom of heaven on earth grows ever more feverish. Modern utopianism. 3 examples. 1. The global world government. Desire for the green meadow, rejection of suffering. 2. Transhumanism. The hope of eternal life, the rejection of death. 3. The metaverse. Belief in the falsity of this world, rejection of earthly beauty. The life affirmer rejects all of these attacks upon life. He loves life as it is. He does not seek to cure suffering or remove suffering from life. Rather, he seeks to find meaning in suffering. The life affirmer does not resent life. He rejoices in it. This is the sign of a healthy and strong spirit, a spirit capable of facing great adversity and creating great beauty. In The Gay Science, Nietzsche proposes a thought experiment to the reader. The greatest weight. What if some day or night a demon were to steal after you into your loneliest loneliness and say to you, "This life, as you now live it and have lived it, you will have to live once more, and innumerable times more, and there will be nothing new in it, but every pain, and every joy, and every thought, and every sigh, and everything unutterably small or great in your life will have to return to you, all in the same succession and sequence. Even this spider, and this moonlight between the trees, even this moment, and I myself. The eternal hourglass of existence is turned upside down again and again, and you with it, speck of dust. Would you not throw yourself down and gnash your teeth and curse the demon who spoke thus? Or how well disposed would you have to become to yourself and to life to crave nothing more fervently than this ultimate, eternal confirmation and seal? To live life again and again exactly as you have lived it for eternity would be a torment for most. But there might be a few who would rejoice and dance at the demon's words, a few who have the spirit to truly affirm life. Can you think of a moment, perhaps just one moment, in which you too would have danced at the demon's words? Inhuman, all too human, Nietzsche wrote. And so onwards, along a path of wisdom with a hearty tread, a hearty confidence. However you may be your own source of experience. Throw off your discontent about your nature. Forgive yourself your own self. You have it in your power to merge everything you have lived through. False starts, errors, delusions, passions, your loves and your hopes, into your goal, with nothing left over. This is precisely what Nietzsche meant when he posited the idea of the Overman or Übermensch. This is Nietzsche's hope for humanity. Not that we come to rest in the green meadow, but that again and again we might reach heights which justify all of our suffering and pain, which justify all of life on earth up until this point, that we might forgive ourselves our own selves, that we might persevere onward through false starts, passions, delusions, through marshes and valleys, towards ever greater, remoter peaks, until one day we might look back upon ourselves through the clouds and say, "What is an ape to man? A laughingstock and a painful embarrassment. And what is man to us, we men who stand above men, we peaks of existence, we affirmers of life? Man too is but a laughingstock and a painful embarrassment, a going over and under, a stumbling and a falling, not an end in himself, but a bridge to something greater. Then we might laugh even at our tragedies, and as we stand at the bottom of yet another, greater mountain, confronted once again with the eternal challenge of life, we might stare up to the stars and simply say, yes, I, even I, will one day overcome myself." In The Gay Science, Nietzsche wrote, "I want to learn more and more to see as beautiful what is necessary in things. Then I shall be one of those who makes things beautiful. Amor Fati, let that be my love henceforth. I do not want to wage war against what is ugly. I do not want to accuse. I do not even want to accuse those who accuse. Looking away shall be my only negation. And all in all, and on the whole, someday I wish to be only a yes-sayer."